hallowed grounds at beautiful Belmont Park. A raucous backyard crowd today as we get this Memorial Day weekend 2015 underway. The unofficial start to summer, and it looked and felt like summer at beautiful Belmont Park. A picture-perfect Saturday afternoon. We're glad everybody is with us here on MSG Plus for Belmont Insider. Jason Blewitt, Richard Migliore. Place was abuzz today, and 14 days. I can't help myself. We've got the daily countdown. 14 days out from the 147th Belmont Stakes.
Yeah, 2 weeks from today, just about this time of day, the Belmont Stakes will be underway. But it was a great feeling in the Taj Mahal of North American racing today. Not just the excitement in the backyard, but even down in the picnic areas at the quarter pole. A lot of barbecue going on, and just a really, really nice feel, and a bunch of good races.
Yeah, plenty of picnicking in the backyard, and kids were here, families. There's something special about this place when you've got people having a great time, and there is the backyard, and you can join us all weekend long at Belmont Park. We've got that live racing card. Of course, tomorrow, a Sunday we're normally open, but a rare Monday card. In fact, I dare to say the only one of the spring-summer meet, a Belmont tradition every single Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, the tradition used to be the Metropolitan Handicap. Well, now we've got New York Showcase Day, and we're actually going to be covering it for MSG.
Right, the New York Racing Series. 5 p.m. is post time Monday for the Critical Eye, and we'll, of course, get everybody up to speed with the 6 additional New York bred stakes. But round 1 of the Big Apple Showcase Day, Monday, Memorial Day. Please join us. We begin, however, and this will be familiar territory to those that catch Belmont Insider every single night. The Derby Preakness winner, American Pharoah, doing pretty well at Churchill. Had his first gallop yesterday and was back on the main track. And this video, courtesy of Joe Byrne, he stretched his legs with another 9-furlong gallop today.
Yeah, and the thing that you see in the video, at least what looks encouraging to me, is it looks like he's carrying his weight well. He looks like he's got a good energy level. It doesn't look like the 2 races, the Derby and the Preakness, have knocked him back any. Of course, he's going to have to go out there and do it, but from everything you can see, at least on video, he really looks good, especially that photo. You can really see that still shot there, how much he's carrying his weight so well. And that's important. If you see them lose a lot of weight off of a couple of hard races, you got to question if they're going to be able to rebound. Well, it looks like he's thriving on the workload.
Looked like a chess piece. Head held down low, and Jorge Alvarez, his exercise rider, had a ton with American Pharoah, who, truth be told, took about 6 minutes to gallop around the main track at Churchill, was back in the barn, got his bath, and we've got his flight scheduled to the Big Apple on Tuesday, June 2nd. We'll draw that Belmont Stakes in Rockefeller Center Wednesday morning. Trainer Bob Baffert plans to be on hand for that. We'll have a draw show on MSG Plus. A lot to look forward to over the next couple of weeks. One of American Pharoah's rivals, currently based at Churchill Downs as well. That is Conquest Curlinate for trainer Mark Cassie. We mentioned Made from Lucky, the Peter Pan winner on last night's show. This horse second and closing like a freight train for Mark Cassie.
Ran really well. The way he closed, conventional wisdom would be, well, 1.5 miles. The way he closed, the extra distance. Horses don't tend to close that big in the Belmont Stakes unless you have some sort of a pace meltdown. It's usually the horses that are in position. Now, that being said, he does kind of have that big grinding kind of stride that makes you feel like 1.5 miles will be within his scope. Whether he's fast enough is the other story.
I wonder who the last Ontario bred to win the Belmont Stakes. May have to look that up. We do know his sire, Curlin, however, was beaten in a tough stretch battle against the filly Rags to Riches already 8 years ago in 2007. Nick Zito needs no introduction regarding Belmont Stakes success. Brooklyn Nick, as we like to call him, he has sat out the last 5 Belmont Stakes. It's been since 2010 when he ran both Fly Down and Icebox. Those were his last Belmont Stakes starters. But on a quiet morning, nonetheless, with Belmont contenders, Brooklyn Nick up in Saratoga had Fermento breezing at Oklahoma.
Well, and here was Fermento breaking his maiden last fall in his only victory in his career so far. I think it's a tall order to just have one win under your belt, but Nick's had good luck running improbable type horses like the Tara. Birdstone, to me, was a very good horse and maybe never got the due he deserved. People kind of chalked it up that he beat
Smarty Jones. Come on.
You know what I was going to say? Sunday Silence. That's how far back I'm going there.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day, but Smarty Jones. But you think about what he was able to do, Birdstone, winning the Champagne, the Travers as well as the Belmont Stakes. He was a good horse in his own right.
That is a trifecta few greats have pulled off in the history of New York racing, and here he is in front of 120,000 people. Everybody, seemingly everybody, rooting for Smarty Jones, the unbeaten 3-year-old phenom, to hold on, which Stuart Elliott cannot hold off. Hall of Famer Edgar Prado and Birdstone. And Birdstone surges past.
I remember I was in the jockey's room for my son Joseph. I had a mount in the last race. I didn't have a mount in the Belmont Stakes, and I thought Smarty Jones could do it. And I wasn't going to watch it on a TV monitor in the basement of Belmont Park, so I got permission from the stewards, and we were on the turf course right at the finish line in the infield. And the way this place erupted when he turned for home and looked like he was going to do it was the same way you could hear a pin drop when he got caught. I've never heard the silence was deafening.
Right.
How it just... the place just went completely deafening silent.
And the drama evaporated a lot quicker and way earlier in the 08 Belmont Stakes when Nick Zito entered Tara, who, if my memory's correct, like Fermento, had a mere maiden win to his credit. I think he was eligible for an A other than Big Brown eased out of the race. He's out of the picture. And Alan Garcia with Tara, just shy of 30-1, pulled off the upset and never went on after this race to win another race of consequence. This was his only graded stakes win, the 08 Belmont.
Well, he picked the right day to show up, didn't he? And obviously when Big Brown didn't run, it was wide open for an upset, and it shows how speed is always dangerous. And you let a horse gallop along loose on the lead, even a horse with just one win to his credit can pull down a big race.
And the answer to the trivia question, the last Ontario bred to win the Belmont Stakes, Victory Gallop.
Wow, that's
back
very
in
good,
1998. Huh? So this little news segment, headlines on tonight's show, has been a thwarted Triple Crown attempts, one after another with Nick Zito, and even mentioning Victory Gallop. Fans still hanging out. We've got the action at Monmouth Park, a little Santa Anita at Naira.com, and Memorial Day weekend. No better place to be than the grounds here at Belmont. No better place to go than track announcer Larry Colmus. He is in the booth, and he takes us through the running of Saturday's featured 8th race, the Paradise Creek.
Alex the Terror moves up into third. St. Louis, after a sharp start, is fourth early on, just ahead of the trailers Cronin the Barbarian and Enjoy the Show on the inside. Going along at an easy early clip here, Bridget's Big Lovey is the leader, and on the outside is the favorite, A Lot. These two, 1-2 up the back stretch. Bridget's Big Lovey, 3/4 of a length through a 24-1 opening quarter mile. A Lot running in second. Alex the Terror third to the inside of St. Louis in fourth. And then comes Enjoy the Show and Cronin the Barbarian, who are right next to each other at the back of the field. Around the far turn, Bridget's Big Lovey continues to lead the way. A Lot is a half length behind. And now these two lead the charge around the turn, and Cronin the Barbarian goes up 4 wide. St. Louis is right there in and among horses, Alex the Terror and Enjoy the Show. A 47 4/2 mile, and they're coming to the top of the stretch. And John Velasquez and A Lot make their run for the lead. A Lot has taken over now, pulling away from Bridget's Big Lovey. Then Cronin the Barbarian, Enjoy the Show on the far outside, but it is A Lot in front as they come down to the wire. Pulling away with each and every stride, it will be A Lot to win it over Cronin the Barbarian, Enjoy the Show, and Bridget's Big Lovey.
Was this breathtaking? Holy smokes. Look at this turf machine named A Lot.
He streaked through the last eighth of a mile. He was just rolling. As visually impressive a performance as you're going to see. Reload was impressive yesterday. This horse was impressive today. And what else can you say about Tappet? I think from 5 furlongs to about 2.5 miles, whether it's turf, dirt, mud, slop, broken glass, the Tappets just run.
And he'll have a horse in the Belmont Stakes 2 weeks from now. The TwinSpires.com winner, Wood Memorial winner in Frosted. And this horse had a winner on his back in Hall of Famer John Velasquez, who won 3 today, and he caught up with the MiG after getting off the beast.
Johnny, A Lot was a lot of horse today. He streaked through the wire. What did it feel like when they're going the last eighth of a mile in 11 seconds?
Tell you what, it's incredible. And he has that really acceleration that when you ask him, he gives it to you and really quickly. You know, going on 7-8, so I didn't worry about it so much about trying to save him like I ride him when he goes 2 turns. And actually talking to Bill, you know, before the race, it's like, you know, he's just a little bit far for him. Once he start going more than a mile, and said, so 2-8, 7-8, let him do it. So that's the way he did it.
Do you think, though, up to a mile he could be as effective?
I think so. I think so. The mile on 16 to a mile and 8, you have to be really careful how much you use him, and especially that last turn, getting position kind of the way I did in Kentucky. I was forced to get the position that I needed to take, and when I took it into the quarter pole, I got to the lead a little bit too soon, and he sprint home for about 16 of a mile, and then he kind of hung a little bit.
So when I watched his races, it appeared to me, at least I thought, that maybe he was pulling up when he got clear, but more that it's just a very short run.
I think that's what Bill believes, though. Really, though. I think even the gallops out, even when he goes a mile and 16, a mile and 8, he gallops out really strong. So he always makes me believe that he can do it. I just have to really be careful how I use it.
Congratulations, you used it perfect today.
Thank you.
Interesting to hear Johnny talk, that as brilliant as a lot was today and as good as he was in taking the second Paradise Creek, there's distance limitations potentially, and you've got to be careful when you really hit the gas and accelerate on this guy.
I think you see that with horses that have that brilliance, that explosive turn of foot. They don't tend to stay as long as the distances go longer, because when they're asked, they give it instantly and they give it hard and fast. And that's my concern with a horse like Lady Eli. I know up to a mile and thereabouts, she's going to be brilliant, but can she stretch that brilliance over a distance of ground? A lot. He gives it all at once.
Things are heating up in the 3-year-old turf scene. We'll have the Pennine Ridge, our local prep for the Belmont Derby on Stars and Stripes Day next weekend at Belmont Park, and we'll see who goes where. But Belmont has got a talented 3-year-old colt by Tappet in the barn, and he's a man that knows a thing or two about talented turf horses. 21 years ago, we end the segment, a look back at the 1994 Manhattan with Paradise Creek.
Swiftly to the lead, an aggressive move by Solar Splendor, and he's gotten by Paradise Creek, and Paradise Creek counters, and those two have hooked up on the turn, and they're approaching the quarter bowl, matching strides, and Paradise Creek has a short lead. On the outside, Solar Splendor is right there with them. 5 lengths back to River Majesty, set down for the drive, and Paradise Creek is under a hand ride here by Pat Day, and he has shrugged off the challenge of Solar Splendor, and he comes cruising into the final furlong. An impressive victory once again. Paradise Creek will win 6 in a row. He's a top-notch racehorse. He's won by 5, and he did it easily today. Solar Splendor was second, and the time...
Famed ivy walls, the arched windows, and the paddock. Think about the number of champions that have walked beneath the trees in this historic track. It is really breathtaking. Hallowed grounds, a place of reverence, and we continue to write the new chapter in the spring of 2015 with Belmont Stakes Day 147. Do not get shut out. You got to make the move at BelmontStakes.com.
Yeah, if you have any interest in being here at all to see potential history in the making, and also just an unbelievable card of racing with all those grade ones, and obviously the Met Mile tonalist, last year's Belmont winner, don't get shut out. Get your general grandstand admission. You get in the park, and you will be here for one of the greatest days of racing ever put together.
BelmontStakes.com. It's the MIG. It is JB. We're glad you're with us. Pretty neat looking back 21 years ago to Paradise Creek. An odds-on popular win in the 94 Manhattan before he left to Japan for stud duty. We're much closer to home, though, for race number 3 of the Saturday card as we go back to Larry.
Back running in second position, and then it's Hope Cross third to the outside. They're followed by Equilateral fourth along the rail, and then comes Carolina Shag. Orient Harbor trails 4.5 lengths off the lead. The leader is Jet Majesty. On top over Mags Amelia. Hope Cross the favorite third to the outside. They went a first quarter mile in 23 and 2/5 seconds. It's not a fast pace. Equilateral is fourth on the inside, 3 lengths off the lead. Carolina Shag and Orient Harbor at the back of the field around the far turn. Jet Majesty in front with Mags Amelia alongside. Hope Cross coming up there 3 wide. Equilaterals right behind them. Carolina Shag and Orient Harbor still at the back of the field after a 46 and 4.5 mile, and they make their way around the turn. And here comes Hope Cross now. On the outside, Hope Cross moves up alongside of Jet Majesty at the top of the stretch. Carolina Shag's in the center of the course, and it now rallies up on the outside to take the lead. It is Carolina Shag in front. Hope Cross is giving way. Orient Harbor is about to grab second. It's Carolina Shag. Orient Harbor on the inside. Late move Equilateral into third. Here's the wire. Carolina Shag won it at 18-1. And then it was Orient Harbor, followed by Equilateral and Hope Cross fourth.
Sustained 3 to 4 wide rally for this West Virginia bred by Bop Carolina Shag. 18-1. Boom. Shipping in and got the cash.
Well, it just shows this 7 furlongs is an unusual distance on the turf. A 1-turn, 7 furlongs here at Belmont Park. It appears to me for Carolina Shag, 5 furlongs on the turf, when she gets a pinwheel, was a little short. 2 turns a little long. 7/8 was just right.
Little DQ action. We've got Orient Harbor, white cap, white blinkers, highlighted as she comes over, drifts in, and clearly bothers the 2 inside horses.
Yeah, rightful DQ. You can't take their ground, and you put them in a very precarious position. And once they get to bouncing, it becomes a dangerous position. And it was the right call. It had to come down.
Cornelia Velasquez, Susan Cooney, the winning owner, trainer, and breeder. I get a kick out of when a horse ships in from out of town, and you don't see too many West Virginia breds running at Belmont, but buy a $1,000 Son of Rahi stallion in Bop. I like stuff like that.
Yeah, it's great, and it shows you a good horse can come from anywhere and well ridden by Cornelia Velasquez.
Let's move on to race number 9. We end things with the Saturday nightcap, pick 6, late pick 4, and the same track announcer as we send it back to Larry.
They're off. Nylinger on the far outside. Smoke signals toward the inside. These two out of the gate quickly, and Grouvier between them now goes up to grab the lead, and Grouvier will be the pace setter. Nylinger is running in second position up the back stretch. Right behind them, Scamper, Stormy Alexis, Mayflowers on the far outside, and Smoke Signals is down toward the rail and getting shuffled back there in traffic and 4 lengths off the lead. And then comes Katama, and far, far behind is OK Mama. 22 flat was the first quarter as the field races for the turn. Grouvier, the leader by a neck. Nylinger on the outside, second. Then comes Scamper. Stormy Alexis to the outside. Mayflowers 3 wide. Smoke Signals begins to move up now in 6th, and Smoke Signals is going to go to the far outside, and they're coming to the top of the stretch. Grouvier off the turn in front by 2. Here's Smoke Signals on the far outside, continuing to progress in the middle of the course. Mayflowers is in between those two, and from far, far behind, Katama is finishing flying on the far outside, and here comes Katama in the center of the course trying to catch Grouvier, and Katama did it. In fact, in hand at the finish. Grouvier was second, Mayflowers was third, and then came Scamper.
This is an inner turf at Belmont that's very firm and has been tilted towards early speed types over the last few cards. Katama, however, was good enough to overcome that recent trend. Big last to first effort in her career debut.
Gotta love the way she did this, with a beautiful turn of foot. She's so well bred. A Medaglia d'Oro out of a Stormcat mare. And for her to do what she did and actually hit the wire with her ears pricked, I think Tom Morley and the connections have to be pretty happy with this effort. And you gotta think she's going to be okay stretching out as well.
You would think, looking at her pedigree and the fact that she finished so well going 3 quarters at a big price, 11-1. She was the one you really needed in both the pick 6 and late pick 4. And we'll give Junior Alvarado, who is ridden as well as anybody in this Belmont colony, some style points for taking a hard, kind of steady hold on Katama right near the wire for that picture, right?
Well, she had so much momentum. He knew he was going to get there, and I think Junior's been riding tremendous. But Junior, I'd have just dropped my head and rode her out just so the picture looked good. I never liked that pose, but obviously he knew he had it in the bag.
All right, we'll see Junior now, in fact, along with Johnny V, Javier, and a few others with the same voice upstairs. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7 as the Saturday show continues.
El Viejo Verde has given way on the inside, and then comes Leatherhead Lori, followed by a marked man into the final 16th, and it's Andrews Got Zip. Andrews Got Zip, and Junior Alvarado pulling away as they come down to the line. El Viejo Verde was second, and then came a marked man and Leatherhead Lori. They're into the stretch, and Duke of the City and Eric Consell have pulled away. They're now 4 lengths out in front, coming to the 8th pole. Call for the Clock is next. Bedouin now to the outside, and I want you to know, down to the last 16th, it is Duke of the City, 4 in front of Bedouin now, and Call for the Clock. Duke of the City reports home first. Bedouin now was second. Then came Call for the Clock and a photo between I Want You to Know and Matt and Jesse for 4th. In front by 2.5. Devilish Grin second on the outside. Bear Claws is third. And then comes a Pretty Smooth Guy. Coming into the final 16th. And John Velasquez and April Color are running up the score. April Color all alone as they come down to the wire, going to win it by 6. And then it was Devilish Grin. Tharya came from last to get third. Then either a Pretty Smooth Guy or Bear Claws. They're into the stretch, and Rockford has taken the lead. It's now Rockford up top. On the outside, Mr. Rosenthal. Here comes Frazel outside of them. And farther out, Liberal Spin puts in a late bid. It is Mr. Rosenthal, Frazel, and Liberal Spin. The three of them come down to the line together. It's going to be Frazel at 39-1 over Liberal Spin, then Mr. Rosenthal. And Alexandria is the one to beat after a 45 3/2 mile. It's Alexandria length and a half, barrier to entry, trying to make a race of it, and Sweet Polly Purebred is third on the outside. But it's Alexandria and John Velasquez, and they have the lead as they come down to the wire. And Alexandria is going to pull away in the end to win it by 3. Barrier to Entry was next, and then came Fantastic Eyes and Sweet Polly Purebred on Special Ops. These two clear from Quamet, who's third, and then comes H-Man on the outside into the final furlong. And it is Day of Fury leading by 2.5 over Special Ops, who will not catch Day of Fury. Day of Fury by 2 on the wire. Special Ops was second. Flat Lever was third, and Quamet was fourth.
That was the second win for jockey Cornelia Velasquez on today's card, and first time out for David Jacobson. Never had an anxious moment. Cruising to the front, never looking back. Day of Fury, a much the best winner in race number 7. Fifth race, however, much the best may be an exaggeration, but as we take out Cappy and his binoculars, how about the gameness out of the old 9-year-old son of the Cliff's Edge, Frazel, who surged between.
And just wanted it bad. You could see this horse's demeanor, the way he's sticking his head and his neck out. He didn't want to get beat. And this was his second career start on the turf. It had been about 5 years since he last set foot on the turf course. Well, in his old age, he decided, you know what, I kind of like the grass.
Yeah, it's good to see him win. He is now 17 for 52 in his career. This win puts him right on the cusp of $500,000 in earnings, and he had to dig down deep for it today. In a race, to be fair, he showed up, lit up the tote board at just under 40-1, but a couple of other horses had troubled trips. Nonstop got stopped down on the inside, and the 11-horse Special Selection had to take up when he was trying to go to the outside beneath Javier.
Well, a lot of times turf racing is about trips, and sometimes a horse makes his own trip. And Frazel, I think this winter, he kind of got a little bit mixed up by trying to stretch out. It's not what he wants to do. He got back to sprinting, albeit on the turf today, and that's really what he wants.
Second oldest horse in today's fifth race. There was a 10-year-old in Luigi P., but good to see those geldings running hard and running well. Trips worked out, to say the least, for Hall of Famer Johnny V., who walked away with a hat trick. Two other riders, Cornelia Velasquez and Junior Alvarado, each picked up a riding double.
But Irad Ortiz maintains his 3-length lead over Angel Cruz, and suspension's almost over. Just a few more days, and he'll be back in the saddle, so maybe it didn't hurt him that much.
8 trainers won races today, and I say 8 because we ran 9, and Todd Pletcher went 2 for 2.
And Todd Pletcher narrowing the gap on Chad Brown. We've seen these guys slug it out a great deal last year. Think about Saratoga. Well, they're just kind of a little dress rehearsal for round 5 at Saratoga, it seems like.
And as Belmont Stakes Day gets closer, the man on top, Michael Dubb, I can't help but think of Condo Commando, who's pointing to the Grade 1 Acorn.
Yeah, Condo Commando. But Michael Dubb does so well claiming horses, and he always seems like he has a plan where he's going with them, and it's worked out extremely well.
Speaking of claims, let's see. Michael Dubb was not active today, nor were the Shakes, but Duke of the City, St. Finian, and the sometimes cantankerous Nonstop all changed hands.
Duke of the City was very impressive, and for 12.5, I got to think he was a bargain.
Sunday preview, no carryover, still rocking down at the Quarter Pole Picnic area. More information available at NYRA.com. Stay tuned, the Mig and I are coming back. Back to Big Red. He will very shortly have that blanket of white carnations draped over him. The 1973 Triple Crown winner and one of the greatest of all time. Race number 8, Sunday afternoon, 3 and up. Filly Mare, non-winners of 1 allowance. These are state breds. Dreamboat Annie, the horse to beat.
Yeah, and she gets back on the turf. She beat Open Company at Gulfstream going 5 furlongs. Looked like 6 furlongs won't be a problem. Came back and ran well in the Stallion Stakes on the dirt, but she gets post 1. She gets Johnny Velasquez, and she just needs to work out a trip.
Leo Giamatti, the trainer. Sonora is where we're going next. Eddie Keneally, daughter of Discreetly Mine, with Javier trying the turf.
Yeah, first time on the turf, and she certainly got the right style, because usually these races are won from horses lurking just off the pace. She should find herself in a stalking position if, in fact, she does like the turf.
August 8th, 2014 is Sonora, and it's always good to catch up with the action at the Big A on this Memorial Day weekend. But August 8th, 2014, early on in the Saratoga meet, maybe the halfway point to be fair, it was Chasing Paradise, breaking her maiden in her 5th lifetime start.
We've kind of seen this a lot this spring, Jason. Horses that run good races last year going long, their first start back sprinting on the turf, they're fresh enough to get involved and get there going shorter than maybe they want. And I think this filly's very live at probably a pretty square price.
And a live horse to be had with Maggie's pick for Sunday afternoon.
Thanks, guys. Well, your Paddock Insider for the Sunday for this Memorial Day weekend. Don't forget, there's 6 days of racing to complete this Memorial Day Monday. But the Sunday card offers some good races, and we'll start things off here on my end. Or I should say, you should wait around for my end. That's the last race tomorrow. It's a New York bred maiden claimer for the fillies and mares. And while the logical horses on paper are ones coming off layoffs, so you never know, well, are they going to be ready? Are they going to return to the form that they once had? I want a filly with some recency, and that is a second-time starter from the Charlton Baker barn, and that's number 8. The Giant is Lit. As she is a daughter of Giant's Causeway, to me, she screamed turf, especially from a sprinting perspective, and she actually ran a lot better than I thought in that first race on the dirt. So I get the feeling maybe that was just a prep to get a race under her belt, and they were always having turf in mind. So that's why she's your Paddock Insider. The Giant is Lit for tomorrow. Guys, back to you.
Good segue into Big Apple Showcase Day, picking a horse trained by Charlton Baker, Moonlight Song. That guy does a terrific job on the New York bred front of things. And Memorial Day with the Big Apple Showcase Day. Plenty of ways to enjoy the races at beautiful Belmont Park. And I'm sitting next to a man that has ridden some of the greatest New York breds in history. Win, Thunder Rumble, Funny Side, 4-Star Dave. It's a pretty extensive list, Meg.
Yeah, well, I'm a New York bred myself, so, I mean, it's just kind of fitting that I rode some really good ones. Very fortunate over my career to sit on a lot of quality New York breds. And actually, the first $100,000 stake I ever won on in my life was a horse named Precipitous Hope, a New York bred.
That's pretty cool. What do you remember most about Funny Side, though, riding him after his 3-year-old season?
Just how tough he was. He would run through the bridle, and I could hardly ever pull him up.
You did, and you won some races, and we have hit the finish line. We do it all again tomorrow, Sunday afternoon at the park. Our first race post at 1:20 p.m. Have a great night.